A $29 flight that somehow costs $187. Here is where your money actually goes. A $29 flight sounds like a steal, until you add a carry-on, a seat that is not in the middle, and a checked bag. Suddenly, that $29 flight costs $187. That is the real math on a recent Spirit Airlines booking. Budget airlines have turned flying into a fee minefield, and today, we are mapping every hidden charge across 8 airlines, dollar by dollar, so you know exactly what you are really paying. We analyzed the fee structures of 8 of the world's biggest budget airlines: Ryanair, EasyJet, and Wizz Air in Europe, Spirit, Frontier, and Southwest in the US, and AirAsia and Scoot in Asia. For each airline, we tracked every add-on fee across 6 categories: carry-on bags, checked bags, seat selection, boarding priority, booking fees, and surprise charges at the airport. All prices are for a round-trip economy fare, 1 passenger. And the results reveal a pattern that most travelers completely miss. On average, budget airline passengers end up paying 40% more than the advertised fare once fees are added. Let us break down exactly where that money goes. This is where budget airlines make their first move. Traditional airlines include carry-on bags. Budget airlines do not. On Spirit, a carry-on bag costs $37 to $65 if you buy online. Wait until the gate? That jumps to $99. Frontier is even worse. A gate carry-on fee can hit $115. That is more than many base fares. In Europe, Ryanair gives you one tiny bag for free, 40 by 30 by 20 centimeters, roughly the size of a small backpack. Anything bigger requires priority boarding, which costs 10 to 18 euros. EasyJet and Wizz Air play the same game. One free small bag, one overhead bin space. Pay up. The only budget airline that gets this somewhat right is AirAsia, which includes a 7-kilogram carry-on with every ticket. But here is the real trap. These fees are dynamic. The same bag can cost $37 in January and $65 in July. Airlines adjust pricing based on demand, route, and how close you are to departure. Quick tip: the cheapest carry-on fees are available less than 1% of the time. A 2025 Consumer Watchdog study found budget airlines rarely offer those low advertised bag prices. Always check the actual price before assuming it is cheap. Checked bags are where the math gets brutal. On Spirit, a checked bag costs $30 to $50 online. At the counter, $55 or more. At the gate, up to $99. Frontier follows the same playbook. Ryanair charges 19 to 60 euros for a checked bag, depending on weight and when you book. A 20-kilogram bag that costs 25 euros at booking can cost 50 euros at the airport. EasyJet starts from just £7 for 15 kilograms, which is actually reasonable. AirAsia is the cheapest in Asia, starting from $10 to $25 for 20 kilograms. But here is what most travelers miss. A round-trip flight with one checked bag on Spirit adds $60 to $100 to your total. On a $49 base fare, that checked bag alone can double your ticket price. Here is the move. Always pre-buy your bags online during booking. Gate fees can be 2 to 3 times higher than the online price. I have seen Spirit passengers pay $99 at the gate for a bag that cost $37 online. That is $62 gone for waiting. Do not want a middle seat? That will cost you. Spirit charges $5 to $50 for seat selection. The average preferred seat is $33. Exit rows run $48. On Ryanair, standard seats cost 3 to 15 euros. Extra legroom, 15 to 39 euros per flight. Frontier and EasyJet follow similar pricing. And this is per flight segment, not round trip. So a round trip seat selection on Spirit can easily cost $66 to $100. Then there is priority boarding. Ryanair bundles it with the larger carry-on bag at 10 to 18 euros. Spirit charges $6 to $15 per flight. It sounds optional, but here's the catch. Budget airlines often fill overhead bins before general boarding even starts. If you did not pay for priority, your paid carry-on might get gate checked anyway, for free, but at the cost of waiting 20 minutes at baggage claim. Airlines collected over $4.2 billion in seat selection fees last year alone. Now we get to the fees that do not even have a checkout page. Name change on Ryanair, 115 to 160 euros. That is more than most tickets. Boarding pass reprint at the airport, 20 euros. Forgot to check in online with Wizz Air, 30 euros at the counter. Spirit does not let you cancel or change most basic fares at all. Your ticket is non-refundable, non-transferable, and if you miss the flight, it is gone. Then there are payment processing fees. Ryanair charges up to 2 euros per credit card transaction. And the one that frustrates travelers the most, excess baggage. Pack 1 kilogram over the limit on Ryanair, and you are paying 13 euros per kilo. That is 13 euros for a bag of toiletries. Do yourself a favor and buy a $10 portable luggage scale. It pays for itself on the first trip. 1 kilogram over on Ryanair costs 13 euros. That is the most expensive kilogram of clothing you will ever own. Let us do the real math. Ryanair advertises London to Barcelona for 15 euros. Sounds incredible, but a typical traveler needs a cabin bag, a checked bag, and a window seat. Add priority boarding with 10 kilogram cabin bag, 18 euros. Add a 20 kilogram checked bag, 35 euros. Add a window seat, 12 euros. Your 15 euro flight is now 80 euros one way. Round trip, that is 160 euros, or about $174. The advertised price was 30 euros round trip. The real price is 5.3 times higher. And we have not even added food, which Ryanair does not include, or the 20 euro boarding pass fee if you forget to print at home. Ryanair is still cheap compared to British Airways on this route, but the gap is much smaller than the headline fare suggests. For Ryanair, ancillary fees account for about 38% of total revenue. The base fare is the bait. The fees are the product. Spirit advertises Los Angeles to Las Vegas for $29. The base fare includes one personal item, which is basically a purse-sized bag. Add a carry-on bag, $43. Add a checked bag, $40. Add seat selection to avoid the middle, $33. That $29 flight is now $145 one way. Round trip, $290. For Spirit and Frontier, ancillary fees account for nearly 50% of total revenue. Half of what you pay is fees, not airfare. Now compare that to a legacy carrier. Southwest flies the same route for about $150 round trip. While Southwest now charges for checked bags as of 2025, their base fare still includes free carry-on, free seat selection, and free flight changes. The total cost difference is about $140 in Southwest's favor. One move that most people miss. Spirit's Gold Card gives you a free carry-on and checked bag on every flight. If you fly Spirit more than twice a year, the card pays for itself. But honestly, at that point, just compare the total cost with a legacy carrier first. Here is what the data actually shows across all 8 airlines. On a typical round trip with one carry-on, one checked bag, and a seat selection, the add-on fees range from $50 on AirAsia to $260 on Spirit. The average budget airline adds $142 in fees to a round-trip ticket. Industry-wide, airlines collected over $5 billion in baggage fees and another $4.2 billion in seat selection fees in the past year alone. These are not side businesses. For some budget carriers, ancillary revenue exceeds ticket revenue. The 3 most expensive fee airlines are Spirit, Frontier, and Wizz Air. The 3 most reasonable are AirAsia, EasyJet, and Scoot. Ryanair sits right in the middle, expensive if you need bags, but genuinely cheap if you can travel with just a personal item. Budget airlines are not always a bad deal. They win in 3 specific scenarios. First, the personal item only trip. If you can pack everything into a 40 by 30 by 20 centimeter bag, Ryanair, EasyJet, and Wizz Air are genuinely the cheapest way to fly in Europe. Weekend city trips with just a backpack? Budget airlines win every time. Second, short domestic flights with no bags. A Spirit flight from Fort Lauderdale to Atlanta for $39 with just a personal item is hard to beat. No legacy carrier comes close on price. Third, off-peak booking. When you book 2 to 3 months ahead on a Tuesday in low season, the add-on fees drop dramatically. That $65 carry-on can fall to $37, and that $50 checked bag can drop to $30. The key is knowing when budget airlines deliver real value and when they are just a marketing trick disguised as a cheap fare. Here are 5 rules to beat the fee game. Rule 1. Always pre-buy bags online during booking. Gate fees can be 3 times higher. Rule 2. Weigh your bags at home. A portable luggage scale costs $10 and saves you hundreds in overage fees. Rule 3. Compare total cost, not base fare. Use Google Flights or Skyscanner with bag options selected to see the all-in price before you book. Rule 4. Consider airline bundles. Ryanair's regular fare includes priority boarding and a cabin bag for 15 to 25 euros more than the basic fare. Spirit's bundles often save $20 to $30 over buying add-ons separately. And Rule 5, the golden rule. Check if a legacy carrier is actually cheaper. On routes where Delta, Lufthansa, or British Airways run sales, the total cost with bags included is often less than a budget airline's base fare plus all the fees. Never compare advertised fares. Always compare door-to-door total cost with everything you actually need. That is the only number that matters. Budget airlines have built a billion-dollar business on the gap between what they advertise and what you actually pay. Now you know every fee and every way to fight back. Which budget airline do you think has the most unfair fees, Ryanair or Spirit? Drop your answer in the comments. If this saved you money, subscribe for more data-driven travel breakdowns every Friday.